Hello, everybody. Today we're going to talk about uh, visas to get into the United States, immigration. Um, I'm going to stay away from illegal slash undocumented immigrants. That's a whole different subject. What I'm going to be talking about today is legal immigration and why it should or should not be made easier for people to come to this country as far as legally coming to here, immigration with the visas. There are multiple different kinds of visas. I got my little tablet thing here so I can kind of look up things and give you an idea of what's going on and what they are. I'll talk about what I know first. I'm using the K1 visa, which is for fiance or marriage. That's a fiance marriage visa is the K1 visas. That allows you to bring a spouse and children under the age of 21 over using the K1 visas. The fiance visa is basically you meet somebody, you fall in love with a person, you ask them to marry them, and then you start the process to bring them over here. And then they once they get here, they have a 90-day period to get married. Once they get here, you have to have met the person first. You can't just be like, "Oh, I want to marry you," and start the visa process that way. You have to have actually met them, have their have photographs, have paperwork showing that you've met them. Airline tickets, whatever, hotel stays, anything like that to show that you've actually met them. That costs roughly about $2,400 to do that, and it takes about a year to a year and a half to come over to bring them here, and then they have 90 days to get married to you. And if they haven't gotten married in that 90 days, they're basically immediately put back on a plane and sent back to where they came from. So there's that. Marriage visa is with the fiance visa, there's a little bit more likelihood that it will be denied. Not much, but it's roughly, I think, in the 5 to 8% range of being denied. The marriage visa is less than 1% being denied on that, and also that kind of depends on where the country's coming from, and you have to pay for all the fees and everything and stuff like that too. That one's a little bit easier to do, and it allows you to bring over your spouse and their non-adult children, which is under the age of 21. The fee for that is around $1,200 to $1,300, not counting airline tickets and everything like that. It's basically you meet the person, you decide you want to marry that person, you marry the person. You have to have all the documents and everything like that also. That takes roughly 9 to 12 months processing time to get them here. And you'll get in all this stuff. You'll get what's called a NOAA 1 and a NOAA 2. Notice of action is NOAA. Notice of action 1 is, oh, hey, we got your paperwork and we're going to put it on a table for the next 5 to 6 months or however long. And then we'll send out the NOAA 2, which is going, hey, we've accepted it. Now you got to go through the paperwork. You got to go do the interview. You got to get your medical done and some other things like that, which are all more fees and everything. But that costs about $1,200 to $1,300, not counting airline tickets and everything like that. For me and my wife, that was the best option between the fiance and the marriage visa. The cost was the biggest issue with that. So that's why we did that one. They do have other they do have other visas. They have a visitor visa, student visas. Let me see here. They got so many visas. Let's see, student visas, exchange visitor visa. Or those are the ones for exchange programs, some type of practical training and employment within the United States. Temporary work visa, self-explanatory. But they have a whole bunch of different ones under that one. H-1B, H-1B1, H-2A, H-2B, H-3, L-1. Crazy, a lot of them, just looking here. Then they have the treaty trader investor visas, are for those who have treaties of commerce and navigation in the U.S. Not sure what those are about. Maybe it's for people that are on ships that are coming here and, transporting stuff here, and it's just an easier thing than getting a visitor visa. Diplomatic and official visas, kind of self-explanatory there. Victims of crime and human trafficking. I can understand that one, and it's probably a good one to have also. Transit and crew member visas. Oh, that would be the one I was talking about up on there for people that are working airlines and stuff like that, so they have a place they can stay and not just stay at the airport. Immediate relative and family sponsor visas. Let's see, F2A. Let's see. There's a few of them there for unmarried sons and daughters, citizens who are at least 21 years of age. For brothers and sisters, there's quite a few of them here on that one. Fiancé and spouse visa. Those are the K1s that I was just talking about. Employer-sponsored visas. Other type of immigrant visas. Diversity immigrant visa and returning resident visa. And, those are the main ones right there. The ones I will be talking about mostly are the K1 visas. They represent basically about 68% of all visas. 40% is for spouse and immediate family, and that means your spouse and their children under the age of 21. Then they have the other one, I think I mentioned it there, it's not a K1, but it's for immediate relatives or relative-sponsored ones, which would be brothers and sisters, parents, and adult children over the age of 21. Just so you know, getting those here, depending, the children, I've already looked into that. That takes at least 2 years to process for adult children, adult unmarried children. For others in the family, like brothers, sisters, and stuff like that, you're looking upwards of 6 years or more for those. I don't know the specifics of the other types of visas, how long they take. I've heard some instances where they're trying to get the visa for upwards of 12 years. 12 years. That's a crazy amount of time. If they're going through all that and spending 12 years to get to this country, let them in. I mean, come on now. I think they should make it a little bit easier for some of this, for some of the visas, especially the marriage visa and marriage and family visa to bring them here. Reasons for that obvious. I'm kind of not liking the idea. I don't get to see my wife for at the very least a year. Before I see her again, unless I fly there, which is going to take a lot more money and everything like that. For that one, definitely, I think they should make it easier. And, the cost isn't too terribly bad, but it can be prohibitive on some things. Another thing on that they're trying to get on the spousal part is like that Trump, which I'm not care for Trump on this, and some of you might disagree with me on this, is a ward of the state kind of thing. They don't want people coming here and jumping right onto, the public doles kind of thing, the food stamps, health care, all that stuff. But at the same time, a lot of these people coming here, they can't get a work visa, at least spouses can't get a work visa for up to a year after they get here. A work visa. So the people that, the husband or wife that brings them here has to support them for a full year before they can even start working to be able to help support them and the family, which I'm not in agreement with too much, at all. I mean, to a certain point, yes, but for a work visa, if you're allowing them to have the visa to come here, then you should allow them the green card to be able to work at the same time and not have to make them wait for that long. It helps everybody involved. Yeah. There's other visas and everything like that, but like I said, that was the main one I'm talking about is the K1 visas for a spouse. There's other visas like asylum seekers. I don't have problems with that, but the rules are fairly specific about who gets to seek asylum. And I know people are going to argue with me on this one, but it has to be basically the country. You're escaping crimes against humanity from countries that you're living in. But, you know, basically, it's like if you stay there, the government there's a good chance the government there will kill you. It's not about, oh well, I'm trying to get away from an abusive family member, or I don't like the neighborhood kind of thing, or I don't like the way the economy is. Just look at that's not for asylum seekers. Sorry, it's not. And yes, you know, but and I'm okay with anybody seeking asylum here, but when I'm seeing, you know, 10,000 people coming walking up from you know, Central America up here, and they're all seeking asylum, and probably less than 1% of them would qualify for it, and we have to pay basically the whole time for their lawyer, our lawyers, keeping them detained or in housing of some sort, you know, until all this goes through and stuff like that. And it could cost the American people upwards of $10,000 each person looking for asylum. I'm sorry. I'm not up for that. There are ways to come here, and we allow, from what I just saw from at least the 2016 immigration stats, was that we allow almost 1.2 million immigrants into the country every year. I mean, that's not everybody and stuff like that. And, you know, as far as the world population goes, that's just a drop in the bucket. But that's a lot of people coming here. As far as we have in this country, non-native born Americans, there's over 40 million non-native Americans here. And I'm saying it like this: if you're born in this country, you're a Native American. And if you've been in this country long before Westerners came here, from, you know, Europeans came here, you're an indigenous Native American. Two different things. So I hope that's qualifies that for you. So look at, there's indigenous Native Americans here, and there's Native Americans that have been born here. I hope that clears that up. Back to immigration. If you have any questions, post them on here. This is basically, I'm throwing out some facts that I found from the immigration department, and a lot of this is my own opinion, so you can take it how you will. So look at it's an opinion-based piece splattered with some facts that I found on the immigration department's website. So that's that on the immigration. Hope you like this one, and we'll figure out the next video. Talk to you later. Peace.